just a small sample of what we came up to. And we said, we can't work with all these. What do we need? We started just as a team, started looking at Graduate First. What can we do? How can we categorize these into something we can use? We came up, it was funny, we came up with A, B, and C, attendance, behavior, and we call it curriculum. Laura calls it credit, but they were all attendance. And we would label, we had a spreadsheet, and I know this sounds really almost cold, but we had a spreadsheet, had a kid, kind of some information about the kid, and we would code them A, B, or C. 2 of them or all 3. Obviously one that's in all 3 issues you really need to get to in a hurry. And then we started, and this takes a lot of time, and this is what, if you're going to do what we do, you got to have some people that are willing to jump on board and get dirty with it. And we have a lot of people in our school, and 2 of them are in here, but we have a lot of people in our school, and another one that was phenomenal with this data and helping me. We started calling them in with the counselors, and we met with them individually. And the things we saw were disengagement, discouragement. A lot of these kids were already disengaged when they got to us. We know that, right? We started getting our middle school on board. We're very lucky in our feeder pattern. We have 5 middle schools that feed into one, or 5 elementary schools that feed into 1 middle school that feed into 1 high school. Some of you have a lot bigger systems. It's not quite as easy to have influence over what's below you. But we started sharing all this data with our middle schools and elementary schools. Because what may be a problem at one elementary school, it may not be a big problem at elementary school, but if you have 5 of them that feed into 1, now all of a sudden the middle school's got an issue, right? Okay? And then we have a bigger issue. What we also found out, and I forgot to mention this a minute ago, out of those kids that are struggling, about half of them actually transfer into our district. We're a tuition, our high school accepts tuition students. You can pay a certain amount a year and come into our high school. But we also have a lot of kids because of our housing developments and apartments. We have a lot of transient population that move in. And so that affects us. When we started talking to the kids, why are you misbehaving in Miss Green's class? Man, I don't know, man, she's tripping, right? Why is she tripping? What's going on? And it was not a confrontational thing with us. We were just, look, let us help you. And trying to develop a relationship, and you start picking, and sometimes you have to almost make the kid mad or break them down to get them to tell you. And for instance, one kid we had, man, I just don't know my multiplication tables. They're so embarrassed. Well, we can get you help with that. Well, I can't read. And so what we started finding out was 85% of those kids that were struggling with us on our Encore list or our CCU, ICU list, it's lack of basic skills, okay? And so we started trying to put some things in place and are currently working on it. The biggest thing for us, and you'll hear it if you walk into Gainesville High School, I know it sounds kind of corny, but it really does something we kind of really work towards is 100% care. Every day with every kid we try, and it's not always easy because I got 2 kids of my own. It's sometimes hard to show them 100% care all the time, but that's what we try to do. And I think, and when people come in and see and visit, they really see a rapport with our kids and our teachers, and that's pretty special, and that's something that's been there since I've been there. But what we ended up doing in these student interviews is developing relationships with kids. Later on we were told, I appreciate you spending the time to get on my you-know-what, and it makes a difference. What do we do? Again, I talk about the UCLA Collaborative and Learning Supports, Graduate First. This is all encompassing of our Graduate First plan. Fix the bridge, and I'll tell this story real quick. I know some of you have probably heard this before, but something we found ourselves at Gainesville High, we do so much for so many kids. We're operating over here in the emergency mode. And there's a story, this busload of teachers, they're driving down the road, and they're beside a river. There's all these teachers, I don't know where they were going, but they're in a bus, and they're driving down the river, or down the road next to a river, and they look over, and there's all these kids drowning in the river trying to crawl out, and the current's just flying by. It's like lock the bus down, jump out, start pulling the kids out. Well, there's so many coming, they can't, teachers are starting to get tired, and we're losing kids, and we're almost losing teachers, and we might lose a teacher here or there, right? And so all of a sudden one guy walks off, and everybody's like, oh, whatever. So that guy walks off, and they're all still pulling kids out, and all of a sudden they start slowing down. And then the guy starts walking back down the road, and they're going, where'd you go? We're sitting here pulling all these kids out, we're still pulling, where'd you go? And he goes, well, While y'all were doing all that, I decided to walk upstream and see why all the kids are falling in the river in the first place. And what I found was there's a bridge with a big hole in it. For whatever reason, these kids are falling in. So what we've tried to do here as part of Graduate First and some other things is kind of move some stuff into preventative measures. And that's where we get in with our middle school and elementary school and some things we can put in place. Anybody ever dealt with Jerry Springer at your school? Every day, right? Our freshman academy principal deals with it more than anything. We call it Jerry Springer. And the girls every day, it's typically girls, just it's something going on all the time. She said, he said, Facebook, whatever, right? And what we found out, instead of spending all the time on the back end dealing with little Susie and little Jenny, doing some, our freshman counselors going in and doing some conflict resolution in the classrooms before it happens. Trying to fix the bridge before we get there. And I would say that it's a little better this year already, but I don't want to jinx us because I'm not there today, and there's probably something going on right now, so I won't say that. We have credit recovery labs. Most of you are familiar with those. These are pretty popular now. We have kids that want to get ahead. We have kids that transfer in that are behind. We have our own kids that are failing and behind. We try to get them in credit recovery as much as possible to recover some credit. We have 2 teachers. We have 2 labs, 2 teachers, certified teachers, and they are great at helping these kids out. Uh-oh, a little too fast. I'm sure most of you have heard of PBIS, Positive Behavior Intervention. We have 3 R's at Gainesville High School. Our school motto, kind of our school discipline code, is the 3 R's: respect, restraint, and responsibility. Pretty simple. Restraint's usually the hardest one for kids, right? I'm not saying what you really, we talk about that a lot, restraint. But positive behavior intervention, it's really helped us. The data, if you're not involved with that in the Swiss program, you need to get involved with it. We found out that this summer at our leadership conference, the lady in charge of PBIS, she gave us some data, and she said, you know what, I think it was approximately 85 to 88% of our kids have never had a referral. Well, in this test period, it's about a 5-month test period. Never got a referral. 96.6% of our kids had 1 referral or less. So what's that leave? About 4% of our kids with all the issues. Somebody's laughing. Y'all must have the same thing going on at your school, right? And so why are those kids misbehaving? What's going on? Well, guess what? We start looking at the kids. It's the same kids on the list that are disengaged already. So what are we doing to help those kids? Fresh Start. This is something that our freshman academy, and you can see we're moving some of our interventions down low, freshmen, trying to get there, and at the same time doing a lot of stuff with our upperclassmen. But Fresh Start is something, most all of you do class rings and gowns and all that through either Balfour or Jostens. And I'm not promoting one company or the other. I'll mention both of them so I don't get in trouble. But Balfour is who we use. Balfour has just, and we stumbled upon this summer, they have just started a program called Fresh Start. And we've already had our big promotion at school. It's free to your school. What they do, and we were kind of a test case, and I wanted to get some pictures, but I couldn't get the pictures in time. But they bring a time capsule. It's like a plexiglass box about that big, and they bring it to your school, and each kid writes a letter to themselves 4 years from now. Writes, this is who I am, whatever, and they lock it away. They also have this great video that's got, and it's very well done. It's not corny. The kids loved it. It's kids, freshmen coming into school, and then they have seniors tell their story, and then they have them in like a round table, and it's a video. And it's really funny because one of the kids was worrying about how to open it, things that you don't think about that help a kid through school, how to open my locker. That's what they're scared of. They think they're going to get thrown in the trash can, and, knock on wood, we haven't had any of that this year, but, but it's kids helping those kids with the things that are issue. One thing that's cool, too, that's part of Fresh Start is they have a robe. Our principal's Mr. Chris Mance, and they had a black robe that we wear at our graduation, and they let all the freshmen sign their name on that robe. This is part of Balfour. They gave the robe, and then Mr. Mance will wear that robe at their graduation in 2015, which I think is really, really cool. Something we're doing at the high school is we're getting a couple of trophy cases. On the freshman floor, which is our upper floor, their time capsule and his robe will hang there with a banner that says, on my honor, I will graduate with the class of Gainesville High School class of 2015, and they all sign it. We're going to stage it so they look at it every day. And as they move on, we're going to move the three upper classes downstairs and have that shown so they see it's tangible every day. Freshmen don't realize they're going to have to do something in about 3 or 4 years. They just don't know what it is. So we want to have something tangible for them